All Renegades to the trenches. It's time for Renegades of Puck Television. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Welcome to the bunker. A brand new, unique hockey experience is debuting right now before your very eyes. I will serve as your host, and I will be the anchor right here from the bunker, and we will go to our correspondents, the Renegades of Puck, all throughout the front lines and the landscape of hockey. How can you get involved? It is so simple. Go to renegadesofpuck.com. Also follow us on all of our social media platforms. Make sure you are following us, of course, on YouTube. You'll also want to follow us on Twitter at Renegades of Puck, Facebook, Renegades of Puck. You'll want to follow us on Twitch. We'll be debuting a brand new live streaming options where you will get to see behind the scenes starting very soon right here on Renegades of Puck TV. Also, we have other options and opportunities for you to get involved with the show. Become a partner of the Renegades of Puck. Help support the operation that was built by Renegades for Renegades. You can find us on Venmo at any time if you would like to donate or if you would like to become a partner of the show. Just search for Renegades of Puck. And very important information and announcement right here. The brand new Renegades of Puck grievance line, 615-640-0916. Leave us a message. Let us know how you feel. Vent. Say anything you want and do it completely anonymously. But be warned, we may use that audio for future videos and future episodes here on Renegades of Puck TV. I sure do appreciate each and every one of you joining us for this first episode. We're going to be your go-to, your one-stop for Nashville Predators hockey coverage, Middle Tennessee hockey coverage at all levels, and that's how it's going to start. From there, we will branch out with the Renegades of Puck to take each and every hockey market out there. We're looking for correspondents just like you. Are you a Renegade? It's real easy to find out. Do you have the fire? Do you have the fury? Do you have the passion? Do you love the glorious game? Is hockey where it's at for you? Well, jump in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. Hashtag calling all Renegades. Make sure you join now. We're going to be filling up those spots for correspondents in other cities, not just across the NHL, but across every level of hockey. We are not just here to cover one hockey team. We, the Renegades of Puck, are here to cover hockey. We will start where we are based out of Nashville, Tennessee, independent hockey coverage at its finest, and from there, we will continue digging the trenches inch by inch and foot by foot until we have taken over dominance of the entire hockey universe. Me, I'm your host and your captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. How did I get the captaincy? Simple. A lifetime around and a love for the sport of hockey. The first memory I have in my entire life is 1977, Madison Square Garden. The New York Rangers beat the Philadelphia Flyers 6-3. I'll never forget the day I fell in love with the sport of hockey. Ever since that day, I've spent a lifetime around the sport of hockey, watching it, playing it, being involved at every levels, and helping to grow the game. My passion is hockey. My code is no half-steppin'. And each and every Renegade, if you jump in the trenches with me and you live the no half-steppin' lifestyle, that means going the hard extra mile. That means doing the right thing, even when it's not the easy thing to do. No half-steppin' means getting out there and doing the work that needs to be done. And everything about the great parts of hockey is what no half-steppin' means. Going to the hard areas, doing the little things, doing the right things. And that's exactly what we're going to do right here on Renegades of Puck Television. I've spent my entire life around this sport, and I've spent most of my 26-year career as a professional entertainer talking about and covering the game. The last 12 years here in Nashville, covering the Nashville Predators, working in and around radio, and now it is time to elevate the Renegades of Puck to something brand new, an entertainment entity, the essence of no half-steppin'. We will deliver the goods. We will not fail you, and we will be here for you, Renegades of Puck. Now, You're here for the goods. You're here for the business. So let's get down to it. The Nashville Predators will be opening up the season tomorrow night at Bridgestone Arena, and they will be welcoming in the NHL's newest expansion franchise, the Seattle Kraken. We'll talk about the Seattle Kraken a little bit here before we wrap things up. We'll also hear from Mostradamus previewing what's going to go on in between the pipes. We'll hear from Sean C. Smith, and of course, the Ultimate One is back for another season with the Renegades of Puck, and he will close out the first edition of Renegades of Puck television. For the Nashville Predators, last year, the 2021 season was a COVID-shortened season. Realignment, division-only play. That means we only got to talk about a handful of teams, and so many of the great teams, great players were not seen by the Nashville Predators or the Nashville Predators fan base throughout last season. Well, that all ends and returns to normal this season. The Central Division last year was Carolina, Florida, Tampa Bay, Nashville, Dallas, Chicago, Detroit, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. That bubble certainly made a lot of sense. It was intriguing at first as teams played back-to-backs constantly, but only playing a handful of teams throughout the league over the course of an entire season, even though it was a shortened season, became difficult at times, became a bit of an attrition. This year, a return to the full 82-game schedule and a return to seeing each and every team facing off against the Nashville Predators. Last season, the Nashville Predators went 31-23-2, 64 points. They finished in fourth place, and they got themselves a best-of-7 series against the division-winning Carolina Hurricanes. The Nashville Predators fell in 6 games. UC Saros, however, emerged as a dominant goaltender and took over the franchise starting goaltender for retiring Pekka Rinne. UC Saros last season, 21-11-1, a 2.28 goals against, averaging a .927 save percentage. Pekka Rinne, in his final season in the NHL, 10-12-1, a 2.84 goals against average, a .907 save percentage, and one of the most emotional farewell hockey games that you'll probably ever witness at Bridgestone Arena. Roman Josi led the team in scoring and comes back this season to lead his team. 48 games skated, 8 goals and 25 assists. That was good for 33 points on the year. Philip Forsberg, second on the team in scoring, 39 games played, 12 goals and 20 assists, good for 32 points. Calle Järnkrok, third on the scoring with 28 points on the season. The Herd line emerged to lead a second-half charge, plus the youth coming up from the Nashville Predators development system really changed this Nashville Predators team last season towards the end of the season and allowed them to get into the playoffs. That has led to quite a bit of change since the Nashville Predators lost to the Carolina Hurricanes in the playoffs. Now, the Central Division has a new look. Yes, the Nashville Predators do return to their traditional Central Division. Arizona Coyotes, Chicago Blackhawks, Colorado Avalanche, the Dallas Stars, the Minnesota Wild, the St. Louis Blues, Winnipeg Jets, and of course, the Nashville Predators will make up the Central Division this year with Seattle coming in. That shifted the balance of the divisions, and Arizona gets bumped over to the Central Division. Now, what has changed for the Nashville Predators? I've already told you, Pekka Rinne has retired. A career record of .369, .213, and 75. He is simply the greatest Predator. It will be strange and difficult to see the Nashville Predators go on without Pekka Rinne. But if you go back long enough, it was also strange when the Nashville Predators moved on from Thomas Vokoun, and it's going to be strange now that they are moving on from Pekka Rinne. But UC Saros has showed himself to be very competent and ready to assume the role of the starting goaltender for the Nashville Predators franchise, with another potential franchise goaltender well off in the pipeline, but a player you should definitely be keeping your ear out for, and that is Askarov. You will hear a lot more about him in the future. So for the Nashville Predators, besides Pekka Rinne retiring, Ryan Ellis also traded to Philadelphia. Phil Myers, a defenseman, comes back. Nolan Patrick also comes back in the deal, but Patrick is then flipped to Vegas for forward Cody Glass. Victor Arvidsson also traded to the LA Kings for a pair of draft picks. So some beloved hockey players no longer a part of this Nashville Predators team. Calle Järnkrok was selected by the Nashville Predators' first opponent this season, the Seattle Kraken, in the expansion draft. And Calle Järnkrok will no longer be here at Bridgestone Arena. Hopefully they've got a nice tribute video ready for him. Also, Eric Holla, Brad Richardson, Rem Pitlick, and Kaskasuo also leaving the Nashville Predators roster. What did David Poile and the Nashville Predators add? What did they do with all of these vacancies becoming available? Well, with the youth movement, it was obvious that it would be a lot more contract-oriented offseason than it would be necessarily signing free agents and making any more big trades. Cody Glass, 6'3", 206-pound center, comes in, 6th overall pick, 2017 from Las Vegas, for a career 66 games played. He's got 9 goals and 13 assists. That's good for 22 points. Phil Myers also comes to the Nashville Predators, a defenseman that's 6'5" and 210 pounds, 115 games played, 6 goals, 23 assists. That's good for 29 points in his career. Also, signing as a free agent, David Rittich, backup goaltender to UC Saros now, 6'3", 206 pounds. He's 29 years old, 134 games in his career, a record of 64, 40, and 16. His goals against average, 2.82. His save percentage is .907. Now, here is where David Poile was very busy in what he is calling a competitive rebuild. Now, a lot of this is youth getting the contracts that they earned by coming up and performing at such exceptional levels last season. Others are filling in a gap for now, like Ben Harper on a 1-year, 2-way contract. Then you have Mikael Granlund, 4-year contract. He really earned the right to be a part of this team moving forward. I know for a couple of seasons, Nashville Predators fans wanted to see him moved and traded at the deadline because of how he was playing and what he could possibly bring back in return. I think Mikael Granlund has found a great home with head coach John Hynes, and we saw his emergence as a center. I doubted and questioned moving him to center as nothing more than trying to elevate his value as a potential trade piece. But that did not turn out to be the case, and he turned out to be the Nashville Predators' top forward and performer in that 6-game series against the Carolina Hurricanes. So Mikael Granlund getting rewarded with this contract, I'm actually very excited to see what he can do as the second-line center of the Nashville Predators. Matthew Olivier is part of the Herd line, gets another 2-year contract, $1.5 million total on that one. Dante Fabro, a 2-year deal at $4.2. UC Saros, the franchise goaltender, you better lock him up. 4 years for David Poile and the Nashville Predators at $20 million total. Eeli Tolvanen emerged last year as a potential superstar on the offensive side of things for this Nashville Predators team. He also has a new 3-year contract at $4.35 million total. I think that is a very affordable deal for this Nashville Predators team at this time. Tanner Juneau. Everybody wants to see how Tanner Juneau follows up his emergence as part of the Herd line towards the end of last season. Well, they'll have 2 years to see it at $1.6 million total. And just today, David Poile and the Nashville Predators called a press conference and announced that Mattias Ekholm has a brand new 4-year contract worth $25 million. Now that leaves Philip Forsberg in the last year of his contract, and that is going to be the most critical decision David Poile has to make over the next couple of months. The lines seem to be solidified after training camp. We see Forsberg, Johansen, and Duchene. Forsberg, can he stay healthy? Can he finally hit that offensive plateau that all of us have thought for so long? Is 40 goals within reach for Phil Forsberg? Only if he stays healthy. And if he scores 40 goals, not only will he break the franchise record for the Nashville Predators in a single season, but he will also earn himself a considerable amount of money on that new contract. Johansen and Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene has underperformed ever since coming to the Nashville Predators. This is a big opportunity for Duchene to step up and take the spot on the first line and take care of some business this season. I need to see a lot out of Matt Duchene. Tolvanen, Granlund, and Cunnin on the second line. I actually love this pairing. I love this setup, and I want to see what they can do. Give them some time to develop some chemistry together, and I think you're going to see something very impressive right there. The way Cunnin works, the way Granlund works hard, puts his shoulder down, goes behind the net, and the way Tolvanen can finish plays and the way he has the vision to pass the puck, that line could be incredible. Cousins, Glass, and Phil Tomasino making the roster to start the season. I got a chance to see Phil Tomasino up and close at Pred's development camp, and let me tell you, not only does he have all of the skills and all of the tools to become a full-time regular NHLer, but he has more than that. what we like to call intangibles, leadership. When you see the guy who's the veteran in rookie camp going out there and grabbing the bucket and cleaning up pucks after practice, you know you've got something special. And I believe Philip Tomasino is going to open a lot of people's eyes if given the opportunity. A lot of this is going to be about the youth getting the opportunity. So it may not be pretty at times. As a matter of fact, it may be pretty damn ugly at times. But if this team is out there hustling, they're working hard, they're being competitive, and they're doing the little things the right way, then I think that the record for now can be put off to the side. I want to see the effort, the energy. I want to see what they've called the Predator way for so long. It's slowly been dissolving since 2017, hasn't it? Maybe even a little bit before that, eroding. Well, I want to see it come back. I want to see John Hynes get the full effort, and you're going to get that. If you go consistently with the herd line of Trennan, Sissons, and Juneau, and Olivier is on IR, so he will be part of this roster, but right now injured, so you go with the herd line of Trennan, Sissons, and Juneau. It's an investment in pain is what it is, and they are going to deliver the goods, and they are going to be a fourth line to be reckoned with in the NHL for anyone. Looking at the defense core, Roman Josi is going to pair with Alex Carrier. Carrier did such a good job emerging on the scene last year at the end of the season and in the playoffs that David Poile was able to trade Ryan Ellis and just move forward with the plan. We'll also see Ekholm with Myers, brand new defenseman, and Borowiecki back from injury, and really hope that he comes out and is healthy. That's the most important thing. We know what kind of game he can play. We know he can be physical. We know he can play good, tough defense, be a penalty killer, get in a scrap once in a while. But listen, I want the guy to be healthy more than anything. If you've read his story, if you know what's going on, it's been a very difficult time for him. The injury really was a tough one for him last season. So I hope he's well. And Benning proved himself to be a very solid third-pair defenseman for this Nashville Predators team back this season. UC Saros, of course, is going to be getting the starts. Now, where are the Nashville Predators going to play hockey? All we've talked about so far is contracts, numbers, schedules, signings. Well, the Nashville Predators are going to play hockey against the Seattle Kraken. The Kraken's second game of their franchise history. They fell 4-3 on opening night of the NHL regular season. It was Ryan Donato scoring the first goal in franchise history for the Seattle Kraken, and Grubauer got the start, took the loss 26 out of 30. Donskoy, Geeky, these are players that when they were on their previous clubs before the expansion draft gave the Nashville Predators a lot of difficulty. The Seattle Kraken are a team that appears to have built some really strong wings, maybe not as strong at depth up at center, but we're really going to have to wait to find out what the Seattle Kraken are all about and really what this new-look Nashville Predators team is going to be all about. Once the Nashville Predators take on the Kraken in the home opener, and it's going to be incredible. It's going to be exciting. Opening night at any rink, any barn is always so special when they bring every player out. Predators PA announcer Paul McCann will announce each and every player on the roster, and they'll come out and get their moment on the blue line where the home crowd gets to see them. It's a really special night, and I always love it. So after the Nashville Predators take on the Seattle Kraken in Game 1 of the season, they'll host the Carolina Hurricanes on Saturday. They'll host the LA Kings on Tuesday, and then next week they face off against the New York Rangers before heading off to Winnipeg and Minnesota. So for the Nashville Predators, expectations amongst the fan base and amongst the experts, whatever that means, they're not very high. Is this team even capable of making the playoffs? Well, these are the same questions that we've had going into the last couple of seasons with this grouping. Now, it's a new look group. John Hynes has now been behind the bench long enough to get out whatever the DNA of Peter Laviolette was with this club. There are barely any players left from the Peter Laviolette era at this point in time. You have a returning Norris Trophy winner. You have a potentially emerging Vezina Trophy winner. He did get some attention for the Vezina last year in UC Saros. You have Matt Duchaine, Ryan Johansen, and Philip Forsberg in a contract year. That first line could be dominant if they live up to their potential. The herd line could go on to be something special. So expectations, while they're not very high for very many people with this Nashville Predators franchise, as long as they go about the business the right way, they're going to be right in the middle and right in the thick of things. Are they a playoff team? Who the hell knows at this point in time? We're going to reserve judgment on anything involving the record and involving too many of the big decisions. We're not going to hyperventilate and overreact over the course of the first 10 to 12, 13, 14 games. We're going to sit back. We're going to see how this team starts to emerge. We're going to see how they start to play. Now listen, Something that is a trouble for this franchise the last few years. When UC Saros has gotten an opportunity early in the season, he has been a very slow starter. Let's see if the Nashville Predators can get past the slow starts of UC Saros and get some chemistry and start the young players gelling together as the next generation of the Nashville Predators is about to be unleashed right before your very eyes at Bridgestone Arena against the Seattle Kraken, who have never won a game in their franchise history. Don't let this game be the first game that the Kraken get to hang up on their wall forever by saying they went into Bridgestone Arena and they defeated the Nashville Predators. Not at Bridgestone Arena, not on opening night. Handle your business, Nashville Predators, and we'll be here to recap each and every detail that you see in that game. We'll be doing recap videos for every game this season. We'll also be doing preview videos just like this for each and every game. We'll have a little less information, a lot of stuff to get to here in this show. So we hope you're going to tune in. We hope you're going to join us, and we sure hope you're going to be a part of the Renegades of Puck. Jump in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck right here on Renegades of Puck TV. Follow us on all of the different social media platforms and let the other Renegades out there know how they can find us. After over a decade of being on the radio and 26 years as a professional entertainer overall, right now we're launching a brand new, unique experience. And what we need is your support. So join us for Renegades of Puck TV. The Renegades of Puck will serve as correspondents throughout the season. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and meet a couple of the Renegades right now. Here's Mostradamus. He's a man so far ahead in the future and the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck.
Thank you very much, Charlie. It is an honor to be with you for the inaugural season of the Renegades of Puck television program. We've been together a lot of years, covered a lot of hockey games with the Nashville Predators and the NHL in general, so I could not be more pleased with this opportunity and this venture that we are on right now. Thursday night, the league's 27th franchise, the Nashville Predators, face off against the league's newest 32nd franchise, the Seattle Kraken. Between the pipes, Philip Grubauer, absolutely marvelous last season with the Colorado Avalanche, 30 wins out of 40 decisions, 9.22 save percentage, 1.95, a minuscule goals against average for the Colorado Avalanche for Philip Grubauer, leading the league in shutouts as well with 7. Grubauer, goaltender, has never really gotten the credit he deserves, playing behind teams like Washington with Alex Ovechkin and the offense that he produces. And, of course, last season with Colorado, all their offensive firepower really flies under the radar when it comes to goaltending, doesn't really get the respect he deserves. Finally, he's going to get that with Seattle. 6 years, $35.4 million contract. He will be the backbone of that franchise for years to come. And a guy that's been very consistent throughout his career, 9 years in the league, 915 to 926 save percentage every single season. That is elite level, and nobody talks about him. So Philip Grubauer, well-deserved opportunity with Seattle Kraken. On the other side, of course, we have UC Saros with the Nashville Predators, career highs in wins, save percentage, and goals against average last season. And who can forget how lights out he was for that 2-month stretch that helped catapult the Preds into a playoff spot. 17 appearances, 16 of those appearances in that 2-month stretch, he gave up 2 or fewer goals. Absolutely sensational for UC Saros. This will be the first time in his NHL career, though, he does not have Pekka Rinne being in his ear and helping him out along the way. Interesting to see what UC Saros can do. He, of course, is also coming off an offseason where he got a new contract, 4 years, $20 million. So UC Saros will be the backstopper for the Nashville Predators.
Thanks so much, Mosh. We appreciate you jumping in the trenches from the future. We look forward to you breaking down everything that goes on between the pipes. The starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck. You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. Reach out to him. He's always up for the interaction. Now, let's meet my man on the front lines. He's got the intel that you need to know. From ontheforecheck.com, he is Sean C. Smith. You can find him on Twitter at SCSOTF. Sean, take it away.
Thanks, Charlie. And hey, Renegades, good to see you here on Renegades of Puck TV. This is Sean C. Smith back again, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about something you should be watching for this season, and it's going to take place on the first line. Let's talk about who I think is going to be on the first line based on what we've seen in practice, preseason games, scrimmages, and everything we've seen on the ice all preseason long. We think we're going to have a center of Ryan Johansen with Philip Forsberg and Matt Duchene on the wings. Now let's talk a little bit about how Philip Forsberg plays into this whole scenario. Philip Forsberg is at the end of his contract. At the end of the season, he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. And that means that the Preds are going to have to make some decisions about what they're going to do. They're either going to have to sign him, re-sign him, extend him, get him back on the books somehow, or they're going to let him go. Now, what does that have to do with the first line? Well, Philip Forsberg's playing for his next contract, whether that's with the Predators or another team. He's going to want to have the best season he can possibly have in order to drive that value up and get the highest price he can muster on the open market, regardless of where it comes from. So you're going to see a very motivated Philip Forsberg. Let's talk about the other two guys on that line. Ryan Johansen and Matt Duchene. It's no secret that the Predators left them exposed in the expansion draft over the offseason. Now, what that means is Seattle could have taken them and not had to give anything up in return for them, but they didn't want to spend their cap space on the $8 million price tag, especially with the term that was included with both players. Now, these are good players. They have a lot of value, but they're going to have to show it on the ice, and that's why they're playing on that first line with Philip Forsberg. You've got a motivated Forsberg who should be pushing those two to do their best. Of course, they want to do the best for themselves, don't get me wrong, but they're playing for a little bit of a different thing here. Regardless, if they do well, if everybody gets motivated, gets fired up, and plays at the height of their game, it's going to be a great season for the Predators. However, what that means is that may increase some other team's willingness to take on those contracts, and the Predators are probably looking to get out of at least one of them. If you notice the contract that Matthias Ekholm signed today, the contract that Mikhail Granlund signed recently, these are 4-year deals, not these long, open-ended 8-year deals that these other guys signed. The Predators are looking to shorten up the term and have a little more space. Who are they going to need space for? They have a lot of players that are coming up soon that are going to be needing contracts, and they may want to make room for Philip Forsberg. And the way they may need to make room for Philip Forsberg is by getting rid of one of those $8 million contracts. And the only way they can do that is if somebody's willing to take it on. How are they going to be willing to take it on? If that first line is lights out every night and puts up big numbers, then someone's probably going to be interested when it comes trade deadline time or maybe in the offseason. If they see a motivated Matt Duchene or a motivated Ryan Johansen putting up numbers, I think people will come knocking. That's the big storyline, I think, that's going to be the bellwether for the season, and that's what I think everyone should be paying attention to. Renegades, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad the season's back on, and I hope to see you on the next episode of Renegades of Puck TV. Take it away, Charlie.
Outstanding intel, Sean C. Smith. We sure do appreciate you jumping in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. Now, let's turn it over to the ultimate one. Back for another season with the Renegades of Puck. I have no idea where he's going to turn up next. All I know is he's got the hype that you need. He's going to close out every preview show we have because there's no better way to do it. Here he is, everybody. He is the ultimate Predator.
So, Seattle, you get to start your season off with a road trip. You got a nice welcome in Vegas, but now you're coming to my town. You're coming to Smashville. And I know everybody keeps saying, darling, it's better down where it's wetter, but let me tell you something. You're going to end up right behind me in another fish tank with another loss as we welcome you to the NHL. You see, we've already been there. We've already done that. You got to pay your dues, and the dues run right through the Renegades, the Smashvillians, the Predaholics. We're going to give you a welcome to the NHL that nobody is ever ready for. And if you think we're going to go easy just because you got our boy Callie, think again. Sit down, get under the learning tree, and realize we are your daddy.
Alti is just the best. I look forward to seeing where he'll turn up next for the Carolina game preview. What in the world was that? The Ultimate Predator, everybody. Those are the Renegades of Puck. We also have Brian Baston, who runs the Renegade Analytics desk, that will be joining us from time to time, Kyle Perkins, and so many other correspondents that are still jumping in the trenches and joining the Renegades of Puck. Remember, renegadesofpuck.com, Renegades of Puck on every social media platform. And if you want to be a partner, you want to jump in, you want to join, we have plenty of opportunities. This is built by Renegades for Renegades, and I'm counting on you to help help boost the Renegades and help spread the word. Let's get this out there. Let's share, let's like, subscribe, let's do all the things that we need to do to make sure we're getting in people's timelines and in people's news feeds. I'm counting on you, Renegades. We're launching this whole new project, and we need your help. So jump in the trenches with us, the Renegades of Puck. Now, I'm going to teach you this at the end of every episode of Renegades of Puck TV and at the end of every episode of a radio show I did before this. We always say this, and we mean it from the absolute bottom of our hearts. Stick taps, love, and respect to all. Thank you so much for joining us here on Renegades of Puck TV. This is your captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier.